Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for taking the time to do an interview with us today. My first question for you is tell us a little bit about Sharpe Marketing. What does your team do? What does your business look like in the lead generation space?
My background is in education. I was in public education for 13 years. Decided to do something different and ended up had a friend named Andrew who owns Sharp Marketing, and he was basically at the time he was running his own insurance company, selling specifically final expense insurance, and so I didn't know anything about that, but just jumped in and we started going, and then over the last year that kind of transitioned into through that whole process we were buying leads from other lead vendors and not 100% satisfied with it, and so it's kind of like, well, we want to control our own marketing, and so that set Andrew down a path of, well, I'll just do some research and I can generate my own leads. And so he started doing that and he was pleased with his results until fast forward, it got to the point where it's like, okay, let's just sell the leads instead of working the leads ourselves. And so we started going down that journey probably in October, November 2024. And he ended up just kind of right out the gates landing a client that had lots of agents that were going to be buying. So it was like right out the gate, we were going to be drinking from the fire hose, as they say. And so I don't even remember how he found Lead Prosper. But, anyways, we got on and we talked to Lead Prosper, kind of tell them what we were thinking. And they told us what they offered. And so went back and we were still putting together a game plan as we go along. And it just kind of got to the point where it's like, maybe we met with Lead Prosper again. It was just going to be too many clients and just too much for us to try to distribute the leads ourselves. And especially with this big client we got, we made the jump to go ahead and sign up for Lead Prosper. And that was right around December or January, right at the start of the year. Y'all kind of jumped on board and kind of fast forward us through it and got us going right out the gate.
So it sounds like your business, and this is something that seems very unique to your company, is that you actually tested the leads before selling that end product. And what we see a lot of businesses do, not all, but a lot of businesses will just go straight into lead generation and then straight to selling, where they're not vetting that initial quality. But I love that you had the ability to fine tune those leads before bringing that to market, which I can only imagine made that end client quite more satisfied in the fact that those leads had already had some type of touch and intervention point before that. When it comes to your ideal clients, you mentioned final expense. Are there any other verticals that you're in or looking to branch out into in 2025?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Andrew, who I mentioned earlier, owns Sharp Marketing. He is always forward thinking, like, hey, we can do this. Hey, can we do this? And he's got limitless ideas. I'm more of the guy of like, hey, let's pull back. Let's get really good at this before we branch out. So yes, there is, to answer your question, several ideas, several different routes that we could go. But right now, you mentioned fine tuning. We're still trying to fine tune our own processes, our own product, and just make the quality high and affordable and attractive to specifically final expense life insurance agents. But yeah, we could go a number of different directions, but we want to do quality over quantity right now before we expand.
I love that. Can you tell me, so you joined the company a couple years back, but what is, do you know off the top of your head what the vision for your company is or the mission statement that you may have when you're leading some of these decisions that you're making on a daily basis?
Well, Andrew is a follower of Christ. I'm a follower of Christ, and so we try to do things that are ethical, moral, that aligns with God's word and His will. And so that's really kind of the backbone of everything we do. And so yeah, we have all these ideas and things we want to do, but it's got to pass that test first before we jump down a road.
Again, I can imagine that your end clients probably appreciate that, as many of the core values that happen with religion and things like that is that element of integrity, that element of doing right, things like that. So I love the faith basis behind your business, because again, I think that just highlights the fact that you're bringing that to clients. So very cool. Let's talk about some challenges that you've initially faced. I know you mentioned you're in the midst of fine tuning, but what can you give an example of a challenge that you faced in the last couple of years that has caused your business to grow, or maybe a pain point that has happened in the last couple of years?
Yeah, so I guess most recently is Facebook advertising as a whole. For me personally, that's a whole animal I did. So I've been kind of learning that, and it's kind of like you're learning a system or a process, but then analyzing it all at the same time, and it's kind of tough to kind of figure that out. And so pain points was, we're trying to produce a lot of leads, a high volume of leads, while spending the least amount of money. And so just figuring out, you know, profit margins, how much you should charge, how much it's going to cost to produce these. How does Facebook work, or Meta, should I say? It's ever changing. It's parameters, and it's a mystery all within itself. So those are definitely pain points through the last couple months.
Sounds like constant pivots for you. And it does sound like that you have methods, though, in place to tackle them as you're continuing to grow your success. I'm going to take a step back because you did mention at some point you realized that the amount of clients that you were facing, you weren't able to send those leads manually. Is that the initial drawing point to Lead Prosper, or what really stood out in your decision-making process for that?
Yeah, so exactly what you said. It was just like, okay, if we were trying to distribute ourselves, that would be a whole job within itself. And so it was kind of clear. Maybe it was a little murky at first, but it was very clear at the end. It's like, we have to use Lead Prosper. It's like not an option. And you join any you partner with anybody, you don't exactly know what that partnership's going to be like, or what. You have an idea of what you think it might be or what, but we had high expectations for Lead Prosper, and I would say it's exceeded. And we're to the point now where we're constantly, as a business, you're thinking about, well, where can we trim the fat? Can we let this software go? Can we let this go? Lead Prosper, not even an option. It's not even a discussion. It's basically like having an additional employee that doesn't cost a whole additional employee, if that makes sense, because it's doing so many things for you. And I haven't even fully tapped in. I mean, we're 4 months deep, 3 months deep in Lead Prosper. So I know there's avenues that I haven't even gone down that could be helpful to our business, such as me and Andrew were talking maybe yesterday about the customer portal and what all it can do and how could that benefit us. And so, like, me personally, I need to kind of like do a deep dive on that just to learn what more Lead Prosper can do for us. And just jumping in and learning the system was a challenge, but Lead Prosper made it as easy as it could be. Customer support, I mean, A plus. When I have a problem, because maybe I'm sending leads to the wrong place, or something's messed up, that's equivalent to losing money in our business. And so it's a problem for us, but it's not necessarily y'all's problem that y'all need to take on, because it's us. But when I reach out, it's almost that y'all know it's urgent and y'all respond so quickly and just get right in there, and you'll correct the problem while teaching how to do it in the future.
Every
Um,
generation, time is money, and any type of errors or buyer errors or things like that, we realize that could be potential revenue loss for the business. So we do our best, and I really appreciate the kind words that you have. We ultimately want to make everyone feel like they have a team behind them when it comes to not only that first 30 days, but beyond, and supporting where you're at, and then also where we can grow together. So I love that you've had such kind words to say about that, and we've really enjoyed working with you thus far. Can you perhaps maybe highlight a recent win or campaign that really showcases what essentially your company does best.
Yeah, so a recent win for us. Basically, within Lead Prosper, there's different ways to sell your leads, and I'm not an expert on all of them because we're in final expense. But I imagine if it was solar, if it was whatever, there would be like different ways. But for us in particular, our clients are not bidding; we're just selling them and distributing. That's how we use Lead Prosper, and so with that, we're trying to distribute in a way where everybody gets however many they need for that day. And that's tricky because there's different factors involved because a person may only be licensed in 2 states, where another person may be licensed in 40 states. And then this person, maybe they want 25 leads a day, where this person only wants 5 leads a day. So Lead Prosper makes it so simple to go in and click through that and set parameters up where you're not having to constantly hover over it. If you set it up right, you can trust that it's doing the right job. We like the feature round robin where we know like everybody's going to have a crack at it. We also like the feature of weighted round robin where it distributes it. And with some of the variables I just mentioned, we were trying to kind of figure out a way to make a hybrid of that because with round robin, it's just you're just getting in a line, you know. Well, that's not factoring in that this person is going to need 25 today versus this person with 5. With weighted round robin, the problem is if this person only has one state, it's not exactly like you're in a line with weighted round robin. You're kind of getting selected at that percentage. So this person, say they're only getting 5 leads and they only have one state. Well, if I have it on weighted round robin, the statistical chances of them getting a lead is super, super low. And so I say all that to say this: I'll have a supplier Jackie and buyer Jackie. It's going to get sold to Jackie first, but if Jackie can't purchase it for whatever reason, then it gets cycled back through the whole campaign. I told Garrett about it and he understood what I was saying and no clue what he did, but he went on the back end and did some stuff, explained it to me, and I don't have a background in this stuff, so I'm like trying to digest it, maybe like you're trying to digest what I'm saying right now. And somehow got it to where we have a system now where it's like I can make it go to this one person every time, and if it doesn't go to that person, it can cycle back through that exact same campaign, and so it just helps our distribution even more so. And so that's been a huge, huge win for us here in the last 2 weeks.
Just a custom architected solution to work with your clients. And I imagine not only are you experiencing, potential revenue gains based on where you're wanting the lead to go, but I imagine the clients that you're interacting with on a daily basis are probably happier. You're able to meet their goals in the way that you see fit and grow with those clients. So that is an awesome win in terms of that. I guess my curiosity is what's next for you guys? We did mention maybe breaking into verticals and you have some ideas. Are there any exciting projects that you're looking forward to in 2025 or what's next?
Yeah, I would say for at least the next future, it's just going to be me and Andrew and Lead Prosper. And we have a couple other software, but Lead Prosper being the biggest. So we're really just in the Facebook thing, we're really trying to lock that down and lock our own processes down, lock our own rules down, which is kind of what I was saying earlier. Before we go down this vertical path, I think if we can lock down this where it's like we know it like the back of our hand, then there's so many different avenues you can go down because when you're in marketing, I mean, you can sell leads for hundreds of different things, and makes no difference as far as Lead Prosper. We could have a campaign for this, that, and whatever. And even within the insurance business alone, I mean, we're just a little small pocket. I don't know if the correct word is niche or niche.
Niche.
Yes, we're in just a niche there with the final expense. I mean, but you could Medicare, life insurance, or other forms of life insurance. I mean, just car insurance, and then even outside of insurance, like we've thought about, there's a lot of roofing companies looking for leads. Just the lead generation business. I mean, there's just a million different avenues you can go down. So that would be a natural move for us in the future. But like I said, right now, for at least probably the next couple of months, we're really trying to lock this down and get it going smoothly.
What I love about your company is that it sounds like you're truly focused on quality optimization, getting that path completely correct. And again, I can't say enough about learning from you as a team. There, it isn't a lot. Action that a lot of companies do is just take the time to truly hone in on what they do best. And so I love that you're taking that approach in 2025. If anyone were to see this video and wanted to learn more about you and your company or even work with you, how would they do that? How would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so if it was like a potential client, someone looking to buy final expense leads, if you go to sharpeleads.com, we have a website and we're pretty good about communicating, especially Andrew, who owns it. Any questions or specific things you would want to know, he's happy to answer that. But yeah, if you're just somebody looking to buy final expense leads at a good price, they're good quality, I would recommend us. I believe in what we're doing.
If you heard that right, we are going to be posting that URL in this video. So if you are looking to buy vinyl expense from a very high quality company, you can definitely look at that URL below. Joe, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today. Thank you for being a valued customer of Lead Prosper. And we really hope the best for your business in 2025 and look forward to continuing working with you.
Yeah, I just want to echo thank you to you guys. Y'all have a great mindset because y'all know if we're winning, you're winning. And so it just, I love the partnership we have. And we're not a big time company, but you wouldn't know that from our interactions with y'all. So really appreciate it.
We love that you've had such a great experience thus far. Thanks again, Joe, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Friday.
All right, you do the same.